Hello crafty friends, how are you? Hope you're having a great day. Thank you for popping into my video. Hey, while I'm here, could I ask you a favor? Could you press that little subscribe button if you're not a subscriber already, and also the bell so you get alerted when I've got new videos coming out. That helps me grow my channel and reach more people, which is one of my goals. So I would really love your help with that if you don't mind. So coming to you from Australia, winter in Australia, bit chilly, hence the big nice warm jumper. But I've got the heater going and it's a lovely day to bring you some video content, I think. I choose the days that both of my adult boys and my husband are working outside the home. Hubby, he works in the IT industry for for a large superannuation fund here in Australia. My eldest son, he's got his own sound production business, so he's helping out with school productions, and he also does like plays and musicals and things like that. He does the sound for lots of those, so that's taken over my garage. Yeah, he's into that. And my youngest son works in the medical and pharmaceutical industry, I guess. He's helping with production of some things like asthma spacers and the green whistles that people use when they're in pain. So they're all working hard, and that leaves me a nice quiet house, with the possible exception of my little rat bag cat who likes to walk across my screen. So we'll see how he goes today. Now today's video is something I'm super excited about, because you know how I love my embossing folders, right? Well, this huge Sunflower Embossing Folder is coming out in the online exclusives next week, and I've been playing with it, and oh my goodness, I absolutely love it. It's a 3D folder, so you get really deep embossing, and then that also allows you to do some cool techniques and stuff as well. So I've got 3 different techniques I want to show you today using that embossing folder, and quick peek at the 3 cards. I will show you how to do the technique piece for each one, and then I'll give you a detailed look at each card and information about how I put the card together. So I'm not going to put each card together because really I want to show you the techniques. This is a technique video, but I will list everything that I've used for each card so you can easily duplicate those at home, and the color combos. One of the colors I'm loving at the moment from the new ink colors, in fact I'm loving all of them, but my favorite is Secret Sea. Definitely, I have to say Secret Sea is my favorite, but I'm also really loving Darling Duckling and Cloud Cover, and started using Strawberry Slush, the one that they brought back, a bit more as well, so loving that. Haven't got into Timid Tiger yet, but I saw a really great card yesterday using Timid Tiger and Night of Navy, and Misty Moonlight with white, and that looked amazing. So that's something I have got tagged to have a go with down at my craft retreat, which is coming up soon. So that's always a highlight for me. I go down to a amazing beach house on the Mornington Peninsula called Craftaways, and with 4 other friends, and we craft and talk and chat and solve the problems of each other's worlds, which is always handy when it's accompanied by chocolate and wine, don't you think? So that's a real personal treat for me, and that's coming up in 3.5 weeks, so I'm so excited for that, and I'll get lots of new things made that I can share with you as well. Anyway, enough talking, Claire. Let's get on to the techniques. So I'm going to switch over to the overhead view, and we are going to have a look at how to create these gorgeous cards. Okay, let's get started. Always a good place to start, don't you think? So what you'll need to start with is 2 pieces of basic white cardstock, your gorgeous Sunflower Embossing Folder. See how I said it was huge? Apologies for the glare off there. To have good light, I need strong lights, and they unfortunately give glare. So measuring that gives it 15 centimeters by 21 centimeters. So it's really a great size, and you can decide whereabouts on the plate you want to, on the folder, you want to put the embossing as well. So that's really good too. So you can see where the pattern is and think, you know, this one's quite busy with the sunflowers, this bit, little bit less. What do you want? How do you want your embossed piece to look? So I like that as well. So 2 pieces of basic white. The other thing we're going to play with is we're going to play with the two-tone cardstock. So this is a Darling Duckling piece. So you can see two-tone means it's one colour, the normal colour of Darling Duckling on one side, and then a lighter version of Darling Duckling on the other side. But we're just going to be using this side. This one is out of the Memories in Bloom two-tone cardstock pack. So all of the colours that coordinate with that suite, which are just gorgeous, you can see in there. So yeah, that's what we'll be using for that one. So I'm going to do them one at a time, so we'll pop those ones away. I think we might do the pink one first. So for that one, we need to emboss our piece of cardstock. Now this is so simple, you will just, it will blow your mind. And then we're going to get out our cut and emboss machine. Now this is a 3D folder, so we use number 1, our base plate, and then we use number 4, which goes over the top. So you don't put anything on the on underneath. You just pop those ones like so, and emboss. So pop that aside again. And look at that result. Oh, I love the deep 3D embossing, the effect, the deep 3D embossed effect it gives. Now this one is just so simple. All we are doing, I've got a Pretty in Pink stamp pad, and all we're doing is brushing the stamp pad over the top of the embossing. Like, couldn't get any simpler than that, could we? So now, you do get little bits and pieces in the crevices. Don't think it matters. It adds to the effect, I think. Honestly, that is all there is to that technique. Now, it looks a little bit different to the cardstock when you first colour it, but that's okay. It comes back to the normal colour as it dries. So to show you the completed card with that technique, you can see the difference in the colour once it's dried there. So what I did for this card is I started with a Pretty in Pink base card. I trimmed this piece here down to 9.8 by 4.2 centimeters, 14.2 centimeters, 9.8, just about 1/4 of an inch if you're using inches from each edge. And then I put it onto a mat of basic grey cardstock. And because I love petal pink and basic grey and white together, my sentiments, the sentiment Happy Birthday came from one of my favourite new sentiment sets, which The Right Words. And all I did was cut that out with this white, emboss that. And how great are our new embossing powders, the Wow ones. How vibrant does the white look on dark cardstock? I'm really impressed with the effect of that. So I cut it out with one of the stylish shape dies, and then I just popped a piece of petal pink cardstock behind the back as an extra accent. So that worked out to be 5.5 centimeters by 2 centimeters. And then I popped the whole thing up on dimensionals. And then all I did was add some rhinestone jewels. And there you've got a super simple card. Now, depending on what colour inks you've got at home, you can make up your own colour combinations. Check out Patty Bennett's blog as well. Sorry, video, because she did a whole heap. Probably her Facebook page actually is the best place to check it out, or her blog. So she has done some super different colour combinations and stuff using this technique, but it's so simple, just one colour, or you can add a few different colours and change up your accent colours. So that's our first technique. Not sure what we'll call that, ink pad rubbing. Yeah, so you can see on this one I've pressed a little bit harder. You get a different effect each time, really. This one I didn't perhaps press as hard, which I probably prefer this effect to this effect because it's a little bit too solid up here. But just play around and you'll see the different effects you get. Now, the second one we are going to do is, I think we'll do the, next one we'll do is the Use in the Sponge Daubers. So I loved how this turned out as well. Now, what we want to do for this one is, first of all, we want to colour in the background. And the way we're going to do that is the inked embossing folder technique. So just let me grab my brayer. Now I'm going to apply the ink using the silicone brayer. You could apply the ink just direct stamp pad to embossing folder or sponges other ways, but I find this is a pretty good way to do it. So this is the silicone Stampin' brayer, which is in the catalogue. Let me find what page that is on for you. Stampin' brayer is on page 128. So there we go. Number 3, Stampin' brayer, $28 in Australia. And it's really great for using with embossing folders. You can even, in fact, what if I've got a pair of... I'm not going to do the whole thing, but I want to show you, actually, before I do this technique, I'm going to show you another quick one, which is really simple to do. So I've only got this bit hanging around, so I'm just going to do a little piece. So how I did the last one with the ink pad directly to the embossing, you can do a similar thing with this. And I'm going to use the same colour so I don't have to clean my brayer in between. But when you're applying the ink for this technique and for the next technique as well, don't go back and forth with your brayer because you'll get the ink on one spot. Just keep on rolling it forward to get good coverage. And it'll be a little bit uneven and whatever, that's okay. So with this one, it's just actually rolling the brayer over the top of the embossing, and that gives a really neat effect too, don't you think? But this time we want to actually have the colour in the debossed parts. So we need to look at, this is applying the colour to the embossed parts with an embossing folder, with a Stampin' brayer. But what we're going to do now is we want to apply the ink to the debossed. So to find that, it's just a matter of feeling, okay, which side? That side the sunflowers are up and this side the sunflowers are down. So the side where the sunflowers dip into the plastic of the folder is the side that you want to apply the ink to. So we're going to ink up our We're going to ink up, and this is Pool Party ink I'm playing with here. So ink it up, and then we're going to, I'll apply it here. So we're going to do it, this section. A bit hard to see there because it's on that embossing which is underneath. Okay, so I've applied the ink to the debossed side. And now what we're going to do is pop, while that's still wet, we're going to pop our cardstock in. And we're going to put that through the Stampin' Emboss machine again. Doesn't matter which way, because the pressure will be the same. So noticed I hadn't embossed that time. I'm doing the embossing with the ink braid onto the debossed side. So when you get that out, that's what you get. You get the ink in the debossed section. So that's what I wanted to look almost like the sky. So that's how I created that effect. Both your embossing folder and your brayer, just rinse off in water. All right, so this is what we've got at the moment. So what I want to do now is apply the other colors, and I'm just doing that with sponge daubers. So these little fellas here that you can buy. Now, I did have the other ones lying around, but I think Mr. Kitty Cat might have been having a play with my embossing folder, with my sponge daubers, so I must remember to put these ones away and label them. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to start with the leaves. So we'll use the old olive one for that. So we'll get the old olive ink so they fit on a finger. I like to use them that way. So we're just going on to the... Now, this isn't going to be a perfect technique. You're going to get ink places that you don't want it, but this technique gives the sort of result that is a little bit sort of distressed and messy anyway, which is exactly the sort that I, you know that I like. So that's why I'm so drawn to it, I think. So it's just literally applying the ink with the endauber to the areas. Now, if you've got little tiny areas like this, you can turn it a bit on its side, which helps. But the heavier you push, which I like to do a bit down the base of the leaves, the more colour you'll get as well. So you get the variations in the colour. So we'll just do this one here. So I usually start by doing a little bit and then I put the extra colour on. Extra colour up there, a little bit down here. Sometimes it's hard to tell if they're leaves or if they're petals, but this one here is definitely a petal. I mean a leaf, sorry. So this is old olive that I'm using, and we've got Pool Party in the background there. So the reason I prefer to apply the ink, I mean, you can also apply ink by watercolor, but the reason I like applying ink this way is because it doesn't go into the cracks. With water, it goes into the cracks, so you don't get that variation in the texture and the color showing up, which I think is important. So here's a little bit of a stem, so I'm going to also include that and there too. And maybe even these bits, the very bottom ones. Be a little bit deeper than that bit. Okay, so I think that'll do it for the old olive pieces. I'm not sure that I've missed too many too many other pieces. No, I don't think so. Okay, so the next color I'm going to add in is the Darling Duckling, and I think this is an amazing color for sunflowers. It's a really beautiful deep yellow. So again, on the petal area. So do the colouring, and as I said, come back later and do the highlighting once you've seen the colour, the depth of colour that you've got on there already. Sunflowers are great flowers, aren't they? I mean, they signify, I grow flowers, not commercially, goodness, who would have time for that? But I grow flowers just for pleasure in spring and summer, and I love to cut them and pop them in my house. So I especially love, sunflowers are a beautiful one, and these days you can also get beautiful sunflowers with like pinks and shades of red and stuff in them as well. So imagine the fun you could have. I'll have to do one using those colours too. Imagine the fun you could have with that. But I also grow dahlias. They're one of my favourite summer flowers. Zinnias, another one favourite. Quite like cosmos, but they're a bit fragile. My spring bulbs, I've got daffodils in at the moment, and I've got some ranunculus. Got those, some snapdragons I popped in sort of late summer, so they will come through as well. So flowers bring happiness, and I just love to have them in my garden and see them pop up. When at the end of winter, when you're like had enough and really hanging out for spring, it's lovely to go outside and see things popping up through. Freesias is another one. They're usually the first ones that I see in my front garden pop up. Anyone else here love to grow flowers? Let me know in the comments. If you've got any pictures anywhere, let me know, because I'd love to. I love my flower gardening. Okay, so now I'm going to go back and I'm going to just add a little bit deeper colour at the base here, trying not to get it too uniform. But I want to have a bit of extra colour. And as I said, I love this technique because it's not perfect and you can do it fast, and it doesn't matter if you make some mistakes. Occasionally I'll pull some a bit further up so it's not too uniform. Yeah, that's looking good, I think. Okay, so the last one we're going to do is we're going to do the center of the sunflowers. Now, is this the right color? No, that's the green. We better not use that. This is why I need to label those new ones. So the last one we're going to do is the center, and I'm using early espresso for that. Goodness, just opened this yesterday. Okay, so, and if you've got any yellow on here from the petals, the brown's going to cover it up anyway. So I don't go too hard on this one. I love that you get the texture, that this really shows up the texture in the embossing. And as I said, that's the benefit of using sponge daubers, is you get that variation in the texture showing. Oh, I didn't do that little bit there of the petals. So let's go back and do that. 2, 3, 4, I didn't have the other one coming. Whoops, that was lucky. I nearly put my darling duckling. So we'll just pop that one, this one, and that little one there. Okay, so there we have it. That is what I did to create this card. And then I have just used the Sweet Blooms. So the Sweet Blooms stamp set and the dies, which are these ones here. So this is a Sweet Bloom stamp set. So I've used the Have and Day, and I've embossed that and popped it onto Pool Party. And then in the dies, you get the words Lovely and Bloom. And you also get the outlines of those. So this is Lovely, and the outline of it. So I've done the outline in white for it to really pop, and then I've done the word Lovely in Pool Party. Now when you're doing the word Lovely, best idea is to use some of the adhesive sheets, because then it's really easy to adhere. And then I've actually just used mini dimensionals to pop that up a little bit. So have a lovely day. I think that's a lovely card to send to a friend, and sunflowers are such a bright, happy thing. So yeah, I really love how that card turned out, and I love the pool party with those colours as well. So I've actually just popped this onto a pool party base card. No matte or anything, I didn't think it needed it. I think there's a lot of busyness going on with the colouring, and then, you know, adding those sentiments and stuff there as well. So that's our second card. So we've done this one and this one so far. So let's get on to our final card. Now for this one, we are going to be using the piece of two-tone cardstock. So I'm going to emboss that. So I'm embossing with this so that, hang on, let me get this right. That will go down, so I actually want it to go up. Yeah, so do it the right way up. So with the logo at the front, and then we'll do it up to there. That's the part of the embossing folder I tend to use the most. It's got those three great big flowers on it. So we will pop this through the Stampin' Emboss machine. I can hear my cat scratching on the door because I put him in the other room and shut the door while I was doing the videos, because he's been in this habit of walking across my crafting area. It's ever since my husband, who he's obsessed with, went on a holiday to Iceland with my oldest son. The cat is got a bit stressed, and he used to always sit on my husband's desk while he works from home, but instead he came and sat on my desk all of the time while he was away, which was driving me insane, must I say. You know, I'm trying to be loving to my kitties, but I can sometimes it gets in the way of doing things like videos. So okay, so there is our piece of two-tone cardstock embossed. Now, two-tone cardstock, the difference is in the center, it has got a white core. So our normal Stampin' Up cardstock, like here, that is coloured, dyed all the way through. A little bit of a heavier weight than the two-tone cardstock. But if you emboss this, you wouldn't get any difference in the colour. Whereas because there's a white core in this, when you sand it, now this is just an old Stampin' Up sanding block that I've got, which is actually, I need to get a new craft sanding block, and I'm doing a bit of research at the moment to find that. Then you need to, when you sand it, you can either use like a sanding block if you've got something, or just a piece of sandpaper, and just lightly sand. What the sanding does, it actually exposes the white core on the raised areas. Now, you need to be a bit careful you don't actually rip. A couple of places I did rip, that's okay, but try and be a bit gentle so you can minimise the amount of ripping that you're getting. But the idea is to sand some of the raised edges so that you're getting the texture showing through of the folder by the contrast of the Darling Duckling colours and the white colours. It doesn't have to be heaps. I think that's probably enough, really. And again, we've got this two-tone cardstock in all of the Stampin' Up colours. In my VIP group, I might actually do a share of some of the colours, actually, because it's really great to use. And then, yeah, it's really, really great to use, and, you know, the sanded effect is just beautiful. So to be a VIP with me, it just means purchasing your Stampin' Up supplies from me in Australia, and then you go into my VIP group, which has got their own Facebook group where I share additional Facebook things that I see that I think might inspire you. You also get your catalogues free if you reach a certain target, which is really modest. Most people do that in one order. so you get catalogs mailed out free. You get weekly emails from me. Instead, I've moved for subscribers and demonstrators and stuff. I've moved to monthly because just freeing up a bit more time to do things like this, videos. And you get first picked at any retired stuff if I put it out in a big batch. There's lots of benefits of being a VIP with me in Australia. And I do shares and things like that as well. So product shares I'm very conscious of you getting really good value for your stamping, which is why I love embossing folders too. Okay, so enough chatting about that. That's the base piece that I came up with, and then how I've turned that into a card is this one here. So I've gone with Darling Duckling, Strawberry Slush and Secret Sea. They are all Stampin' Up in colours this year. Now this stamp set here is one of the stamp sets in the quicken or mix and match section. So it's got love, happy birthday, thank you, thinking of you, happy birthday to you, love you. Lots of different creations you can make with this one. I really love the big bold sentiments, and I love the sort of scratchy font. I think that looks really great. So all I've done is I have popped this onto a base card of Strawberry Slush, and then I have stamped my sentiments in Secret Sea, popped Secret Sea thin matte, and then a larger matte of Strawberry Slush, and then I've used the adhesive pearls for the ink colours this year to create a little bit of an accent. So that's a nice bright, I mean, that's the thing about sunflowers, isn't it? They're all so beautiful and bright and happy. So let's have a look back again at just the pieces that we've created. So we've got that extra piece that we created here. So that's 4 different techniques I've shown you. So we've got the ink pads swiping over, we've got brayering with the Stampin' Brayer, which is a great tool to have in your craft tools. And you can even, if you embossed normal cardstock, normal Darling Duckling cardstock, if you wanted to add a bit more variation or show the embossing a little bit more, you can just brayer over the same color ink as well, and that will really help it show out a little bit more as well. And you'll sometimes see me do that in my videos or in my class PDFs. You'll hear me describe doing that. And then this one we had the sponge daubers, and we applied the ink using the ink to embossing folder technique, and then we embossed the 2-tone cardstock. So really that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different techniques you can use with the embossing folders. So I hope you've found that really useful. Another look at the cards. I haven't created something with all of those pieces, but I'm sure that I will. The cards that we made, which I think turned out great. So yeah, I hope you enjoy that. This one's going to be on my Instagram hop with my team tonight. This one is going to be my VIP weekly tutorial. I do a weekly project tutorial for my VIPs. So that's going to be that one. And you'll see them on social media and stuff at various stages. So thanks very much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell if you haven't already, because that helps me grow my channel, which I'd really love to do. And I hope you have a really lovely day today. It's a cold, rainy day here in Melbourne, but that's also really nice. Actually, really nice days like that. So have a great day, and I will see you again very soon. Thank you.